Kyle and I haven't been talking about Mandalorian yet on the channel. I know Kyle has said he thinks it's pretty underwhelming so far compared to last season. I agree with him to an extent, but Tanner, what are you thinking of season 3 so far?
I'll start with the positives on it. I think this season you can tell they have just gone full bore with the budget on like stylization. The chase sequences, the CGI that they've been using has been through the moon with how good it is. And I love those moments. However, oh man, it feels so aimless right now. There's story-wise, I'm just kind of like, where are we going? And I'm just kind of waiting for that, like, big moment to come of, like, okay, here's the goal for the season of exactly what we're trying to do. Because I feel like we don't have that. Other than that, I mean, weirdly enough, I actually think one of my more favorite episodes from watching this was the episode that didn't even have Mandalorian, or the Mando in it, with, the cloning doctor.
Following the clone guy.
Yeah, no,
yeah, for sure.
I was like, I don't understand this. I feel like there's no connection with this episode, and maybe it's just a seed that's being planted right now of like some rumblings that are happening. But that was a really cool thing, I think, to like try showing how Imperials are being reintegrated into the New Republic and so on. That was a nice bit.
I agree. Did you like Andor, Tanner?
Andor is literally everything that I've wanted from Star Wars. Dude.
Let's go, baby.
Andor, like, it's so funny. I remember all of us having a conversation of, like, yeah, I mean, Andor's coming out. Like, it's something. We'll see what happens. And then it turns out to be, no joke, in my opinion, I think it is the best piece of Star Wars content since the original trilogy. That's
fair.
It's high praise, I know, but oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. What about you guys?
I agree. I think it's the best thing, really, that they've put out. And that episode you're talking about, A Mandalorian, felt Andor to me. It felt, let's tell a character story for a minute here and not necessarily focus on big picture. And I dug it a lot. I do think Mandalorian Season 3 has struggled in its... Without the focus being, okay, who is Grogu? To, okay, now I know who he is, I need to return him to his family. And now it's, okay, we're the family. And now we're just kind of doing whatever. And I think they're going to get to the point where they retake Mandalore. I think we're going to get a big, cool battle. That'll be awesome. I think the show has had good highs, but it's just not hitting. The hype doesn't feel there from episode to episode because the whole episode as a whole, even if there's really cool scenes in that episode, I'm not necessarily like gunning for what's coming next. It's not like, oh my gosh, they're stuck. Who's going to save them? Is it going to be Luke? Is it going to be Plo Koon? Who's it going to be? So, I'm digging it. I still like the show, but plus it's coming off the heels of Andor, and Andor was freaking phenomenal. But, so Tanner, you're all caught up, right?
Yes,
with Mando?
I'm up to date. I'm up to date on Mando right now. But oh man, I'm still enjoying the ride. It's just so far it is the weakest season. That's all I have. Sorry, go for it.
How much did you freak out when Ahmad Best shows up? Spoilers for Mando right here. When he shows up,
that was incredible.
As our boy,
that was so cool. That blew my mind. I was like,
I loved it.
Dude, the fact that they were able to actually go in and talk to him and be like, hey, I want to bring you back into Star Wars. Let's do this again. It felt like just like coming around of like, we're bringing you back, man. We want you back in it. We know what you're capable of. Oh, it was poetry.
And so, because Kyle brought this up, so I'm going to mention this real quick. So the Jedi he plays is Carillion Beck. And that's the character. So Ahmad Best has been on a show on Disney Plus for a year or two now, where it's like a Ninja Warrior style show for kids, and he plays the Jedi Master of Carillion Beck as live action, and he's training younglings. And so he's not necessarily playing a character, but he is playing a character, and I think that's so cool, not only to bring him back, but that it's his character on this kind of goofy show where kids are competing through the Jedi trials, and that he's the one to show up and save Grogu, that he's the one to be like, no, I've got to save the younglings. I've got to get them out. I think that was just cool. What a way to honor him. Kyle, what did you think of it?
Of that moment, yeah, I thought it was cool once I recognized who the actor was, just because it was a good comeback in a sort of ways for him specifically, because he went through quite the, I imagine, mental, emotional turmoil of the bullying after what he was told to do with the portrayal of Jar Jar Binks. So I thought that it was cool on that level, because we've seen, kind of some redemption arcs when it comes to the prequel trilogy anyway, so he deserves to be among those to get that as well. I did not know about this show or the specific character that he plays, but it sounds like enough of a deep cut in a way to where I was fine with that reveal, because I was worried that they were going to pull some member berries that Star Wars kind of does lately, in my opinion, too much, with like, ooh, maybe it'll be a reveal of one of these other Star Wars characters you know about that takes him and saves him or whatever. I like that it was probably a deep cut character that fans know about, but enough of a, at least for me as like a general viewer of this stuff, to where I'm like, oh, it was just a Jedi, but it was kind of a cool way because of the actor's story. All right, I'm down for that. So that was a cool reveal, just from a general point of view.
What about Kyle? I'm really curious.
Yeah,
I'm really curious as to. So we've heard our opinions on Mando season 3. I'm really curious what your opinion is.
Like Alex said, I'm a tad bit underwhelmed, but I still think the quality is good within the show. It just feels like they're trying really hard to make this a character's journey arc, especially when it comes to Bo-Katan, but unlike Andor, which knows how to do that subtly but push the story forward, it doesn't feel like Mandalorian knows how to push the story forward while doing that character-driven narrative at the same time. I think there still could be a lot of potential to where we come around on this season, but just for right now, I'm in the boat of like, I'm enjoying my time here, but I'm not seeing quite the progression of this character's journey, especially since we're focusing so much on Bo-Katan now, to as much as I would like there to be a progression. Not that I'm saying that we need a rush for big climatic action-packed battles, but there does need to be progression of at least a hint of a direction, and I just don't quite get that yet. I was kind of hoping to be there a bit sooner, especially with a show that's not a traditional 22 episode arc, but rather a 8 episode arc, something like that. So that's just the frustration that I have with the show, but I still think the quality is still there. It just is having a hard time with that part.
Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of that assessment. It's kind of we're getting some fun moments, and I think some fun exploration of the Mandalorians, but like, where are we going, guys? Because I don't know. Season two, it's like, okay, we're gonna get him back to his family. Season 1, we just gotta save the kid. And we're this rough, gruff bounty hunter that's all of a sudden turned into having the heart of gold. But also, why are the Mandalorians on Space Australia? Like, can we find a better place that's not?
I just think they're idiots.
Constantly trying to kill you.
No, you can only be desert, ice, grass, forest. There's no other options. Except for Mustafar, but that's for Vader
kind of
only.
I have a hard time with Mandalorian lore stuff in Star Wars to begin with, so for this season to go very heavy into it is also a frustration of mine, personally. Just because, like, the Black Saber stuff, the Mandalorian lore stuff, it just doesn't gel with me. Like, I don't...
Black Saber rocks.
I don't care about it myself.
That's called the Dark Saber.
So for this
Kyle,
season
you
to
didn't-
especially... What was that?
Sorry, go for it. I said,
I was just gonna
you didn't
say-
lose your mind at the great mythosaur in the water, in the living waters. I mean, come on, we all know what that is.
The Mythosaur, baby.
Not even a little. I can guarantee you that. Yeah.
I do think that they're getting to the point where we might need to do a time skip. If this show's going to continue, we can't have him be baby Grogu, baby Yoda forever. Yoda says, I'm training Jedi for 800 years, and he dies when he's 900 years old. The guy, that's a 100-year gap. He's a baby at 50. And he's 52 right now. There needs to be some acceleration. So I hope that if they're going to do a season 4, they do excel, do a time jump, and let him just suddenly have a giant growth spurt. And let him have abs. I want to see it.
Let's sex him up, man. I bet you
might
that
as well.
is like kind of a Star Wars thing to say, because I'm sure for the casual audiences, they're like, don't you dare touch baby Grogu. Like, we're keeping him at this cute
He
age.
can't stay a baby forever.
I did think-
I am a sexy.
Yeah.
That's Disney right there.
I'm a sexy Grogu stan. Let's fucking see them six-pack abs. I want to see them pecs. Let's fucking go. There's too much. You know what? At this point, there's too much armor on him.
Wild.
At this point, just saying.